Hello, hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at a new to me challenge called A Year in Pelican Town. I should have probably already have heard about this particular challenge, and yet I did not. You'd think the algorithm would be like, bookish person, also gamer person, loves book challenges, easy breezy, because that's the content that I tend to watch, but nope, unfortunately, it missed this one. And this one is so cute, and I love it. So I was watching some YouTube channels, watching videos on my lunch break, as one does, and came across a brand new YouTuber called Reading in Pajamas, and she was going through all of the challenges that she's planning on doing for the year. And this one popped up, and I was like, I need to check this one out. So clicked over, and as soon as I got there, I was like, wait, I recognize this channel. I know this channel. And I was like, yeah, I'm already doing another challenge with the, that's hosted by the same host, which is the Marginalia writer. And I made a really fun journal for that one as well. That's the um, Once Upon a Year. Is that right? I think it's Once Upon a Year is the name of the challenge. But I was like, this is so much fun. I'm glad you'll jump in because I'm enjoying prepping for the other one. And so this one also looks like it's something I'm going to enjoy. Fabulous. Wonderful. Moving on. So let's take a look over. I may have spent more time than I probably should have on creating this journal, but I had such a good time. And honestly, that's half of the fun. Well, not quite half the fun because you only really do that for part of the challenge and then you continue the challenge for the rest of the year. But it's a good chunk of like the fun is the creating of the journal and the planning and then the communication that goes all around the books that you're reading, etc. So I had a grand old time. It was fabulous. maybe maybe a little bit too much fun, as you will see. So let's go ahead and jump in. Um, I found a bunch of graphics that I'm not sure. Maybe they're screen grabs, so technically probably fine. We will say, yeah. Anyway, so I chose Lewis's welcome because it sounded the most like what I would personally want to say, which is welcome to Pelican Town. Welcome. I left a parsnip outside your door, a humble but essential part of any farm. And then there's a little parsnip there on the bottom. And I have my little character who you're going to see pop up a few other times. Throughout the beginning here. It just says, I just moved to town, time to explore and meet the neighbors. And then, um, you know, going around, came across the community center in its sort of decrepit state, um, and have a little, you know, thing you get when you first walk in. You're like, what in the world is that? If you've played, you will have seen that. I know I definitely went, that is not words. Well, maybe words, but it's not English words, and that's the language I chose, right? Anyway, whole thing. So then I sort of designed the rest of, well, parts of the rest of this is so that I can reuse this journal in future years. I know I mentioned that on a previous video that I'm currently in the mood, in the plan, however you want to say it, making journals that can be used year over year if I complete the same challenge year over year. And this one seems like one that I could definitely do multiple years of. So I went ahead and designed it with that in mind. And this is a map of the entire inside of the community center. Since this year is all focused on the craft room, my assumption is that future years are going to be around other rooms in the community center. If not, and we have to go to a different location and then come back here, whatever. It'll be fun. But if I'm sort of thinking correctly that the next ones are going to be other rooms, then I can literally just move right to the next room. So here's my person. Where should I start? The crafts room. So if you go to the Marginalia writers uh, post or video about this, and I'll put it in the card, then you'll be able to click in the description. There is a link for the Discord. There's also a link for the Google Drive for this. So if you go to the Google Drive, she has a bunch of documents. Some of them are Canva templates, some of them are like Word-like documents, and the Word one is where you find this text in it. And it just says, here's the welcome for the year. This is how it's going to work. We are complete the reading prompts for each of the items to collect the bundle. Here are the types of things you might find in the prompts. So very sort of basic, but fun. Then we go on to my spring foraging pack. So the first year, and this is where I went a little crazy because I found every graphic that I could find for all the little items so I could put them up there. Because could I have just said wild horseradish? Yes, probably could have. Didn't want to. I think that the graphics sort of make it more fun because you're collecting them as you go, right? So I went and pulled PNG files for all of the different ones that are being used, not every item in game, just the ones that are being used this year, and put them in. So we have spring, and we're doing wild horseradish, daffodil, leek, and dandelion, and then the prompts are underneath. So for 2 of them, I've already completed for January. I completed daffodil, which is read a romance or a feel-good story, and I chose The Mating Game by Lana Ferguson. And then for dandelion, you had to choose either a nonfiction or a light-hearted book that brings you joy or teaches you something delightful. So I went with light-hearted book that brings you joy, and I read A Pirate's Life for Tea by Rebecca Thorne because after I finished this book earlier this week, I want to say Tuesday or Wednesday, and this is the 23rd of the month, by the way, I literally went and told my husband about the book. And then the next day at work, I told my coworker about the book. And I was just like, yep, this is an adorable book. I loved the first ones. I know I only have it as a 3-star, and I'm debating going back and making it a 4-star. I'm thinking about it. I'm probably going to because it was so good. I really, really liked it. Anyway, we'll talk more about what I end up settling on after I do some more soul searching when we do our wrap up for the month, but I'm leaning towards 4-star. Very much enjoyed. I also enjoyed the diversity of characters. You had, oh no, I'm going offline, but I did enjoy. I'll talk more. I'll talk more in the wrap up. But yes, diversity of characters, fun story, cozy fantasy. Yes. All right, so then the other 2, and this is for the entire quarter, I had Wild Horseradish, which is read a book with a green cover or something that feels earthy or fresh. So I just looked and saw what was, coming up on my library, books that are coming in, and ended up finding All's Fair in Love and Christmas by Sarah Monzon, which is a green cover. I may switch it out if I find something that fits otherwise, but for now, that's what we're going to go with. And then for Leak, which is read a book that has been sitting on your TBR for a long time, I chose Queen of the Damned by Anne Rice. And I've mentioned this at some point that Queen of the Damned, I remember seeing in the bookstore when I was in high school and thinking that maybe I should buy it. It also was on one of my TBRs last year that I didn't get to because something else came up and I wasn't able to get the book and never came back around to circle back to it. Um, so I was like, it's been on there for at least a year. And if we really think about it, it's kind of been on there since high school, which is like close to 20 years. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, 20 years this year. Oof. Anyways, so that's a long time. We'll put that there. And then another thing about this particular challenge is that you have all of your books, obviously, for the quarter, which isn't that much. The most I think is 5 and the least is 3 for any quarter. You also have a non-reading like challenge portion of it. So for spring, it is a scavenger hunt, which is share a photo of any book paired with something that represents spring to you. It can be flowers, fresh tea, a walk outdoors, or anything that captures early spring energy. It is snowing outside. Well, it is not snowing at the moment. It has snow on the ground, several inches, and we're expecting another foot in the next few days. So I don't know that a walk outside anytime soon is going to get us spring vibes. At least not where I live. But maybe I will find flowers or tea or something. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do for this one, but I have until the end of March to pick something. So we will circle back to what I want to do when I post it. Um, I may post it on Instagram, or I may just put it here, and then put it into the Discord for this particular challenge. I'm not sure. It depends on what I decide to do. If it makes sense to put it on Instagram, then I will. But like, if it's just like a cute picture of flowers, um, like with well, a book with flowers would be really cute. Anyway, I may post it on Instagram. I may not. Just sort of depends on what it ends up being. All right, then we get to summer, and I know none of the prompts yet. I only know what the items are because they were on the Canva template. Um, so I went ahead and put the prompt names and the graphics on here, and then we will have to go back and add the prompts, or I will have to go back and add the prompts um, when they are posted because they're going to be presented just like once upon a year before the beginning of the next quarter. So you're doing like finishing a quarter and then moving into the next quarter and then moving into, you get it. Okay. Fall foraging pack is the next one. We have mushroom, plum, hazelnut, and blackberry. And they're going to be a cozy photo. And I forgot here, there's a puzzle of some kind for summer with the grape, spiceberry, and pea. But this cozy photos, I'm like, okay, maybe that'll be like a fire photo, or I don't have a fire, unless I do an outdoor fire. Maybe. We don't have a fireplace in this house, unfortunately. Um, Winter has winter root, crystal fruit, snow yam, and crocus, and it says make a snowflake. So not maybe it's like one of those like when you were a kid and you like cut them all out and make a snowflake. We won't know until probably like September what this is going to be. Into September, most likely. Okay, then there are going to be two additional like pop-up prompts that need to be completed. Not prompts, pop-up challenges, so they're not just quarterly, they're additional. The first one is the construction one, and you need 2 woods, a stone, a hardwood, and a wood tower. And I wasn't able to find during the time I had available, I will continue to look, a wood tower graphic. Um, so I will need to find one and put that there with the little boxes, but everything else is there. We won't know what the prompts are until they come up. And then the last one is exotic, and there are 2 pages because there are 9, and I could not fit all of them in one without making them very small, and I didn't want to do that because I think it looks prettier with a consistent shape or consistent size across as much as possible. So here's the 5, which is coconut, cactus fruit, cave carrot, red mushroom, and purple mushroom, which I believe purple mushroom does actually have another name, but purple mushroom is what it says on the Canva template. So that is what I went with. And for page 2, maple syrup, oak resin, pine tar, and morel, which is another mushroom. And then there is something called a desert fortune game. And I'm thinking that is spelled right. Desert. Yeah, that's right. I'm like, did I spell that right? Anyways, and then at the end, this place looks great. And I put my little person inside there. On to the next room. And then I can do the same thing I did and make the next room. Copy, paste, adjust way faster to get ready for it the next time. And it's consistently themed and fun, and I can look back over multiple years potentially on it. But yeah, that's the journal for this new challenge to me and my plan for the quarter. You will see the 4 prompts pop up in the TBR prep video for February. So I wanted to try to get this up before February, and I think there's only really one scheduled day, and I'll move things around so that I'm able to get this on the schedule for videos. Um, if I can't, then I'll just put it on a random day because I do want it to be there before I do my TBR so that you're like, what's this new challenge that you're talking about? Anyways, I will see you guys next time. Let me know if you're participating in this one or if there's another like really fun or really cute challenge that I have not been participating in or have not mentioned yet because I'm a sucker. I love them. They're so fun and they're so cute. Anyways, I will see you guys next time. Bye!